Stomach's growling. No pets. Lights. Air conditioner blowing right in my face. Whatever. Let's roll.
Hello, kiddies. It's me, your old pal, the Crypt Keeper. And you're watching Rottin Roger DeMarco. 3 B's. Blood, boobs, and beasts. Roger, you beast. You're a bloody boob.
Hello, internet fans. It's your old pal Rottin Roger DeMarco here from 3bproductionco.com. And this week, we're going to be talking about George Dugdale's 1986 film, Slaughter High, formerly known as April Fool's Day, until April Fool's Day beat them to the punch. That's right, 2 movies about April Fool's Day came out in 1986. Yeah, everyone was rushing for the holidays. Go figure. But anyway, so here is the plot breakdown. Marty Ranzin is sort of this geeky kid in the school that all of the popular kids pick on, treat like trash, play a bunch of pranks on him. So the movie opens with Carolyn Monroe, who, let me say, is 37 years old playing a fucking 17-year-old. They lure Marty into the girls' bathroom so they can have sexy time. Wouldn't you know it, it's a prank. They shock him with a fucking car battery. They take his naked body upside down and dunk him in the toilet. That's pretty ruthless. So they fuck with him pretty hardcore, and then they get sent to detention. While they're in detention, 2 of them give Marty a joint to say, no hard feelings, you know, it was just a joke. The joint has gunpowder in it, like fucking old school Three Stooges shit. Lights the joint, it pops in his face. He knocks some type of acid down, splatters in his face. The prank permanently disfigures Marty. You fucks. Every slasher movie gotta do that, don't you? You gotta pick on the little guy. Well, guess what? He is not having it. That's the rest of the plot. Marty puts a scheme in effect to plan this faux 10-year high school reunion, and he only invites the kids responsible for his accident and picks them off one by one. That's the plot, okay? So now that that's out of the way, before we get into my overall thoughts of this cinematic masterpiece, first, let's take a look at
Rottin Rogers! Splatter facts.
We have 12 dead bodies, which then reverts to 0 dead bodies, which then changes to 1 dead body. So we have 1 dead body. Follow? We have 4 titties. We have 1 bush. Don't watch it on VHS. Watch the Blu-ray. See the bush, a little bit of the bush there. We have 1 dick and balls. Or again, is that 3? That's dick, 2 balls. We have 1 dick and balls. We have acid in the face, and we have scientifically poisoned beer. The methods of death include, but are not limited to, hung up, exploding guts, acid bath, stabbed, drowned in a sewage hole, off-screened, you motherfucker, lawnmowered, electrocuted, hatchet to the face, and speared. Okay, so Slaughter High. Here we go. I gotta say, guys, I have a super soft spot for this movie. As you can see behind me, I think I have every release of this movie ever, because I was just holding out, hoping for a release to come out that wasn't so dark and grainy. Because this movie was filmed without lighting, I guess. I don't know. It's very hard to see what's happening a lot of the times on the VHS, and I just always thought that was part of the charm, but now the older I get, I'm like, I want to see what's happening in the dark. So now I have the Vestron Blu-ray, which looks fantastic, but let me tell you, the downfall of beautiful films is now all of that stuff that was hidden in the dark comes to light. So some of the effects in this movie, they range really low to okay, and there's some stop motion stuff, but when it was dingy and grimy on a VHS tape, it makes it easier to digest, if you will. So this movie, you're better off seeing this in a lo-fi version if you can, unless you're a really big fan of this movie, then you get this edition. Enough of that shit. As I was saying, Marty is this kid who has this unfortunate accident happen to him, which is how so many slashers start out. Everyone comes back to the high school, which is boarded up and it's dilapidated, and they decide they're gonna go in for this reunion, hang out and drink beer and eat food and Marty starts systematically taking them out of the equation. There's a lot of things about this movie that I really like. The acting is not one of them. It's got really bad acting. Because I liked this movie at such an early age, I tend to overlook a lot of that stuff, and I just have a blast with this movie. As far as a one and done slasher film without sequels, it's not a franchise, no other bullshit. I like the look of the killer. I like the fact that Marty takes Skip's jester mask from when they're in high school and wears the jester mask and then has a Letterman jacket. He's just this normal guy who's disfigured with a baseball bat or with a knife or whatever means of weaponry he chooses. I like that about him. I like that he is not Jason Voorhees. He is not Michael Myers. Although there are a couple of times where you're like, wait, is this guy wicked strong, or I'm not sure what's going on. Picks up the janitor by one arm and straight up Michael Myers Halloween 6 is his ass. But it's a very fun movie. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. That's why I'm here, to tell you about these movies. And yeah, as I was saying, Caroline Munro was 37 years old when she took this role. She's playing a 17-year-old teenager even at the 10-year reunion. She would only be 27. She's still 10 years older than she would be at the reunion. They try very hard in the opening scenes in this movie to keep it very hazy, almost like a dream-like quality. Even though it's in high definition, there's like a sheen on all the scenes, so you can't really see how wrinkly she is. I don't want to badmouth Caroline Munro because she is a staple in cinema. She's done a million things. She's a scream queen, but it just feels like it's odd casting choice. I know that the director was like, if we put her in it, it's a name. But at some point you have to be like, man, you are way too old. You cannot pass off as a 17-year-old. Even her in the special features, she's like, I thought I was way too old for this shit, and then they still put me in the movie. It's odd. You can't unsee it, but you can look past it. When I was a kid, I never really connected those dots. You watch a movie as a kid and you just go for the ride. So now that I see it, I'm like, man, she's old enough to be the mom of all of those people playing a fucking 17-year-old. That's crazy talk. Moving on. A couple of things that are pretty cool, because this movie did come out in 1986, so this is right around the decline of the slasher genre, where things were oversaturated. And obviously I said, there were two films competing for the same holiday, came out the same year. But a cool thing about this movie is, since it was in that heyday of slasher films, you get Harry Manfredini doing the score, music cues straight from Friday the 13th. You hear them and you go, hey, wait a minute, which leads me to believe that he was very busy working on other films, and he's just like, we'll just stick this music cue in there. Nothing really changed, nothing really different. But if you just look at it like it's an homage to Jason, it's fine. And it fits the movie okay. There's even a gag in the movie where Skip and one of his buddies put the hockey mask on and jump out and scare one of the other classmates, and they go, who'd you think I was? Jason. And it has the dun-dun Friday the 13th stinger. I had to be quiet. My microphone doesn't like when I'm loud. And there's some pretty charming claymation, stop motion animation, even though it doesn't age well, but it takes me back to those times of Ray Harryhausen and just the amount of work it took for every single frame. Yes, it doesn't look that good in this movie, but it's neat. It's neat to see those old school techniques utilized, put on film. You just accept it and you're like, well, that one didn't look that good, but still pretty rad. She melts in an acid bath. It has a very specific charm to it, and the cover art is glorious. It's definitely one that you saw in a video store and you went, I don't know what this is, but I am taking this home. It's got a decent body count, sort of. That's another thing about this movie. It sort of does this thing that I feel is like a cop-out, where, spoiler alert for you if you have not seen this movie, the entire film is very intricate. There are a lot of things happening, and then you get to the end of the movie and you're like, oh no, never mind, it was a dream. And that can really upset people. And at the same time, April Fool's Day did the same thing. Pulled the rug out from under everybody. No, this is not a killer on the loose. This is a prank. Which is funny because both movies are centered around April Fool's Day, and the directors literally played an April Fool's Day joke on the audience. That's clever, but it's not nice. We came for blood, guts, and tits, and when you revoke everything, it can sting a little bit. It can bother the consumer. But as far as I go, again, I saw this movie very early, and I just accepted that ending. I was gonna say, you invest in the characters and you pull for one or some of them to escape the grasp of the killer, but not necessarily in this movie, because these characters are not likable. These characters are mean-spirited, they're cheating on their husbands, they're doing coke, and they're just fucking horrible adults. And the fact that they just sort of gloss over, they're like, oh yeah, we fucked that kid's life up, whatever. This is one of those movies, and that's where the tide turns. You are like, please, off this guy, off this girl, take them out. You stop being afraid of the killer and you start going, fuck yes, kill them. And there's a whole lot of fun kills in this movie. Quite possibly one of my all-time favorite kills in any movie ever. The electrocution scene on the bed. Every spot where Marty killed them is cleaned up perfectly. I'm talking better than Stephen Avery. I mean, fucking not a drop of blood anywhere. No forensic evidence whatsoever. And it's extremely unlikely, and a lot of slasher movies did that trope. Someone gets fucking chainsawed down the middle. 10 minutes later, someone comes through the living room and there's not a drop of blood. Yeah, okay, Houdini, I'd like to see you do that again. It's a strange trope that these movies did. I know that they're fun and silly, but we're a little smarter than that. There's gonna be blood everywhere. You know what cast-off patterns are? I do now, but aside from all of that stuff, I don't have anything really negative to say about this movie. You know, I mean, it sounds like I'm harping on it, but I really like this movie, guys. The things that stick out to me that bother me, it's a big list. The acting, the age of Carolyn Monroe, the fucking white pantsuit that she wears annoys the shit out of me. Oh, I almost forgot. The theme song. It's like they paid a band to make a theme song, which, by the way, in the theme song says April Fool's Day. So you know they didn't have enough money to change it to Slaughter High. They use this theme song and this main theme 65 fucking times in the movie. They never have any other music. Oh, it's some rock and roll? Here it goes. And you're like, good God, kill me. Why? But again, I like this movie a lot. It's a conundrum. It's the fucking scales of justice for me with this movie. There's a shit ton of things wrong with this movie, but there's a shit ton of things right with this movie. So you're in the middle and you gotta go, do I lean more towards it being a pile of shit, or do I lean more towards it being a good time? And me, personally, I watch this movie all the fucking time. I laugh at it, I have a good time. I will never turn my back on this movie. It is too goddamn fun. So, with that being said, if you haven't seen this movie and I didn't scare you away with all of the negatives, you should check this movie out. And if you have seen this movie, but it's been a minute, take it off the shelf and revisit it and have some popcorn and some candy and just laugh about it. Time heals all wounds. So if you watched it when you were younger and you didn't really care for it or whatever it is, you've put some space between you and that first experience. Take it back out, rewatch it, and see if your opinion has changed, because it's a shame to let a movie like this just disappear. It's a shame for movies to get wrote off, like, nope, that was bad, not gonna do it again. That's not me, that's not the type of person that I am, and if you're hanging out on this channel, that's probably not the type of person that you are. So, if I have swayed you, click the link in the description and get the Vestron Blu-ray of Slaughter High today. In my personal opinion, this movie 100% is popcorn as fuck. I mean, as fuck. It's a blast. There's boobs, there's bush, there's dick, there's a decent amount of bodies, there's a fucking 40-year-old woman trying to pass herself off as a 17-year-old, there's a cool mask for a killer. There's all types of fun stuff in this movie. There's terrible music. This movie has Saturday Night written all over it. So if I have resonated anything with you, you've got to check this movie out, guys. It's so much fun. I have rambled long enough, so I suppose that I should probably get going, because after all, there's a lot of movies out there and somebody's got to watch them. So why not me, right? And I'm gonna walk around this.
Cat. I think she got back.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, I thought it was upstairs. I was like, damn, let's fight. Someone's in the house. We're gonna kill him.